What's up, you guys? So we're gonna do a D3 hello world or getting started. Let's just print something on the page. That's our goal here. So I'm just gonna open up Google and start from a fresh page here. Okay, so I'm gonna try and grab a JSON file and display that with D3. So I just Googled d3.json. I'm just going to go into the first link. Okay, I see d3.json here. So this is a JavaScript object, or like a JavaScript variable. But we actually want like a file. So let's just grab this. And let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, so I'm going to make a directory. Let's call it D3 Hello World. And we're going to cd in there. We're going to call this file users.json. Paste our data. Save that. Okay. And we also need HTML template. Okay, let's just grab an HTML template. This is it. That's what we need. Alright, we're just going to grab it. I'm going to vim index.html. Put that in there. Okay. Interesting. Don't need that. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to make a script to call D3. So what do we want? We want this here. Okay. I'm going to paste that. Okay. And ours is just going to be users JSON. Yeah, so we got users.json here. Hopefully we can get this to display for us. So this is our index. Oops, sorry. Okay. Nope. CD there. Okay. So we're going to open our HTML file in Google Chrome. Let's see what happens. So now we open up the console, and so we get this error. Okay. File not found, styles.css. Okay, so we don't want that. Oh, sorry, move my head. Alright. Reference error, D3 is not defined. Okay, a couple things. First, we do not want CSS. Let's delete that. And we also have to import D3. So let's see how we can import D3. So D3.js. Okay, let's go to GitHub. And here we go. We got a link. So we can just paste this in our file, and we can put it up here at the top. That way it will load. It'll load before our script runs, and when we put it up here. All right, so let's see what happens now. All right. Fetch API cannot load a file. URL scheme must be HTTP or HTTPS for CORS request. So CORS request, basically what that means is the browser does not allow you to access files on the file system, because that's a way to, like, a hacker could get in and steal your data. So they purposefully lock that down. So what that means for us is we need to set up a server to serve that index.html file. So cross-origin resource sharing, yeah, this is why we can't do this simple code. This simple code does not work because the browser locks down this type of stuff. So the next thing we're going to do is Express. So Express is a server framework for Node.js, which is like JavaScript on the server. So let's just look at this. So let's look at this file. First of all, we want to serve HTML, but we also want just a hello world. So let's look at Express JS, and we want the hello world. Okay, perfect. So we can just copy and paste this. Okay, so our goal now is to serve this content from a server rather than accessing our file system to get around that CORS issue. Okay, so we're going to edit a file. We're going to call it server.js. We're just going to paste that code that we got, and let's save it and then run it just to make sure that it's working. So when you call JavaScript on the server, you use node. So node server.js. Okay, so we're getting an error. We cannot find the module Express, so we need to install that. We use npm install Express. Okay, let's try that again. Node Express. Oh, sorry. Node server.js. Okay, and so we got it running. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so we got the hello world working. This is the Express hello world. Okay, yeah. All right. Now we want to serve that our index.html file. So this one right here. We want to serve that through our Express server. So let's figure out how to do that. Okay, serving static files. This is what we want. Okay, so to serve static files, use Express static. The root argument specifies the root directory from which to serve static assets. For more information on the options argument, see express.static. For example, use the following code to serve images, CSS files, and JavaScript files in a directory named public. Okay, so let's just use this. And so we're going to modify our code. So we want to instead of using that get app.get, we're going to use app.use. And then we also have to, so we're going to save that, and we have to make that directory public. Okay, so we've made public. And so what do we want to serve in public? So like every file we put in the public directory, we'll be able to access through the server. So what do we want? We want index in public. We want users.json. In public. So let's see what's in public now. So we've got two files here. We've got our HTML file and our users.json file. So let's see our, oh, whoops. Whoa, holy crap. Okay, tree public. Node modules is a big old file. Okay, so we got these three files that we're working with now. We're working with index.html, users.json, and our server.js file. So now let's see if we can get this up and running. Server.js. Okay. Okay, so now we can access those files in the public folder. So let's go to index.html. Let's pull up the console. Okay. unexpected token in JSON at position 131. Okay, so I'm going to open the JSON file because it's telling us there's a problem with that. It says index.html1, which is, let's see here, index, edit public index. Okay, so it's saying there's an issue here, but that's not actually true. There's an issue with the JSON. So it's a little bit confusing, this error message. It's saying look at index.html line 1, and then the message meanwhile is saying there's a problem with the JSON file. So we're going to go with the message here, because like line 1, line 1, there's nothing, there's nothing wrong there. So let's see, public users, okay. Alright, so the semicolon is, that's a JavaScript way to end a statement. So we do not need that in JSON. So let's delete that, save it, and now let's see what happens. Let's try it again. Okay. Alright, so we didn't get an error. So this red colored text, those are the errors we're looking for. Okay. Interesting. Let's view our HTML. We can just hit Control U. Okay, so what should be happening is we open this users.json file. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So we can get to that file. Interesting. So now the question is, how do we can access the file on the server like this by just putting it in here. Now the question is, how do we access it from D3? Interesting. A dot means current directory, so I'm just trying that out, seeing what happens here. And we want index.html. Okay, it's loading. Let's see. Let's console log hello world just to see if we enter this statement. Okay. So I'm not even seeing hello world. That's interesting. Okay, let's do some more search on d3.json. This is the first one we tried. That one didn't work for us. Coding is a lot of trial and error, so this is what you got to do. And technology is changing so often that this might have been a perfect tutorial, 6 months ago, but right now it's not working for us. So d3.json. Okay. So URL, that could be a file on your file system. That could be a URL like github.com. Interesting. Let's try then. Okay, so that worked. So we got John and Jane. That's interesting. So we needed to, what we needed to do there is we needed to d3.json the file. Let's see if it works without that. Okay, yeah. So we needed that this then function. So JavaScript then. The then method returns a promise. It takes up to 2 arguments, callback functions for the success and failure cases of the promise. Okay, so what's happening here is d3.json returns a promise, which means it's an asynchronous task. So the then function, it is only executed when the previous statement finishes. So d3.json fetches this file. When that finishes, it calls this function with the variable data, in this case, equal to the JSON in this folder, console log hello world, and console log the data. So just to recap, we're not able to cd public. We're not able to just open up Google Chrome with this in this HTML file because we are accessing a file on our file system. So file systems are locked down by the browser in order to limit any hacking potential. So in order to get this to work, we need to set up an Express Node.js server and then serve our files in that way. So we serve the files at, we're getting this localhost. Let's take a look at the server file again. So fairly simple. Using Google, many people have solved these issues before us, so we just use really like the toughest part here was figuring out which search terms to use in Google and when to, like, we try a link, when to cut that link and move on to the next one. Because our initial search was d3.json. We tried data loading and d3.js, and that didn't work for us. So knowing when to cut this link and move on to the next one, those are the most important things. What's your search query? d3.json. When should you cut and no longer spend any time on one link and move to the next link? So hopefully this helps you guys. Hope you guys have a good day, and we'll talk later. See ya.